and turn me around. It's something that I just can't understand the way I behave. Some people you can never save. In my right hand, got a girl on my ear, and on my left hand, throwing back a beer. What can I say?
When we last left our intrepid group, you guys had defeated the Devil Man, though you still had his stick. And you weren't really sure what to do with it. It was wrapped up in Dela's cloak so that nobody would touch it because you weren't really sure about it. Mm-hmm. You had headed to the rum house for a little while for some drinks and some food, and then decided to head down to Frenchman Street. You stopped by, gotten your trombone. You sat in on, I believe, a set or two at a little place on Frenchman Street. We didn't really have a name for it, but just you knew a guy who was working the door. Meanwhile, you had gotten a phone call from a young woman by the name of Carla, who was calling from Muriel's. She initially called Volt, looking for the woman with the gray cloak. Mm-hmm. Volt said that he wasn't going to out Dela because he doesn't just give out information to anybody. And so he had kind of put her off. So Dela tried to call her, had a little bit of trouble because, well, cell phones and wizards don't work real well together. Eventually, Miranda was able to step outside and call and find out that there's something going on at Muriel's. Seems to be of the Carla was mentioning something about this guy throwing stuff around the bar, and that's where you were. Mm-hmm. So.
Because she had mentioned it was a ghost because she was like, well, I mean, of course we have ghosts, but it's a bad ghost, not the good one. Mm-hmm.
It's not the one we usually leave a place setting out for. It's
that's right. Not okay with this one. He's breaking stuff. Right. The other ghost is normally pretty quiet and calm. So yeah, what did you want to do?
I think I rallied the gang. I was like, guys.
Yeah.
We were all together anyway.
Right. You were all just hanging out. Bunk was finishing up his set with his trombone. Right.
Beat some ghost ass.
Imagine him coming off the stage after we already fought.
Yeah.
And being like, hey! Gotta go!
Got another gig. Okay. Yeah.
Got another gig across town.
You gotta get across town. So Muriel's, right? Frenchman Street and Muriel's, you can probably walk there. It's going to take you maybe about 30 minutes. I believe we determined it was around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Or no, maybe it was later than that. I think actually it might have been 11:30 or almost midnight because you had played a couple sets. So it's probably right around midnight. It'll take you probably 15-20 minutes to get over to Muriel's just by walking. And I think most of you had walked. Well, no.
I think I had my car.
You may have your car. Everybody could probably pile into that pretty easily because those old cars like that are big.
I'm going to try to do that like Dukes of Hazzard slide over the thing.
Hop in the passenger.
That's right. So you hop into Volt's car, head over to where Muriel's is. Now you're going to have to park somewhere, probably in Jackson Brewery, somewhere in that area. I think it costs a little bit to park there, but you get a ticket, and then you pay on the way out. So you park the car, walk to Muriel's, takes you maybe 10-15 minutes, and as you're walking up, you notice that the lights inside are kind of flashing. You also see several people come walking out the door very hurriedly. They're dressed reasonably nice, look like maybe young, upwardly mobile professionals, man and a woman, no kids. It's kind of late for kids to be out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you see people definitely starting to leave. And then there's another crash from inside as the lights flicker again or something like that. Yeah.
I head in and
walk in. There's a little entrance hallway with kind of a maitre d's, little booth. Well, not booth, podium. There's a very harried-looking young man there. You notice he's actually got a little cut beneath his eye, and he says, "I'm sorry, we're closed."
Hey, Carla called us to deal with your problem. And
he says, "Carla called you?" Carla! And so he, yells into the back, which is kind of an un-maitre d'-like thing to do. And Carla comes running out. She's this girl, about 5'1", probably maybe 90 pounds soaking wet, dressed all in black. She's got kind of reddish hair, and she very obviously dyed reddish hair. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're Mr. Volt, and you must be the lady with the gray cloak," which you're wearing a gray cloak, so
yes.
She's
taking
notes. You called us about a thing?
A ghost. Yeah, there's a ghost. It's Tommy. Tommy is one of the ghosts that we have in here. He normally just kind of moves things around in the bar, but he's throwing things around the bar. And she looks over at the maitre d' and she goes, "Oh, Carl, he got you." And crap, I gotta get that looked at. So he reaches over to one of the tables, grabs one of the little white napkins and puts it under his eye, and so he says, "Yeah, I'll get this looked at. Yeah, go see what's going on with Tommy." And so Carla says, "Look, huh?"
It was Carlos that called us?
No,
Carla called us.
Carl is the maitre d'. Carl is the maitre d'.
We have a Carla and a Carl.
Right.
Carla.
Okay.
Carl?
So was Carla...
Make me a.
Was Carla...
Is there an observation
Carl.
skill?
Okay.
Or whoever
There
it
is
just told us
There's
that
a-
was-
investigation. There's
Make me an investigation or perception. Well, there's no perception. Make me an investigation roll.
I think the closest thing to perception is alertness.
Right,
Because
right.
it says passive awareness under that.
Now, this is investigation.
That's a 1.
Anybody who wants to make it, you don't have to make an
Oh,
investigation.
I thought you were
Yes.
talking about him specifically.
Yeah.
No, everybody can make investigation checks. You don't have to though.
Investigation or alertness? What if I have both at the
No,
same
investigation.
I have a 3.
A 3? Okay.
I actually swapped investigation with guns just recently.
5.
So-
level? I have
Hey.
a 1.
Funk. You think Carla and Carl might be related? Now, granted, Carla is about 5'1". Carl's probably pushing 6 foot tall, but you notice that they both have the same high cheekbones, facial features. You're thinking maybe they're either brother and sister, maybe even twins. You're not sure. But yeah, you're kind of going, I think that's why they have similar names. They're related, right? And that
I just
maybe
think
also
it's weird.
Well,
I just think it's weird.
yeah. Well,
What a coincidence.
Parents do stuff like that sometimes. Name their kids similar names. So anyway, Carla, tells Carl to go get that looked at. She seems a little concerned about him, and then leads you towards the bar. She walks you through this little kind of room where they've set up several tables to eat in, and then out into the courtyard bar, which is open for about 3 stories straight up, and there's railings on the second floor. The bartender, there's a bar kind of at one end and some bathrooms that are off to the side because you see the doors, with men and women on them. There's several tables, little bar tables that are like for seating for 2, maybe 3 people. A couple of them have been flipped over. You can see there's glass scattered everywhere around the room. And there's very few unbroken bottles on the back wall of the bar. In fact, as you walk in, one comes slinging towards, let's see, Miranda. I need you to make a athletics check.
I got this.
Ooh, yeah, you do.
You
Oh,
did.
6.
Wow. Okay, the bottle comes slinging towards you. You quickly dodge out of the way, and it smashes into the wall kind of over near you, which is kind of sad because it's actually a reasonably nice bourbon, but, there's another story.
You should have caught it.
Yeah.
You should have caught it.
Could I have caught it with that?
With a 6, I would say so. You want to catch it out of the air?
I'll catch it.
All right, you catch it out of the air. It's a nice bourbon. You saved it.
You take that. Okay, thank you.
In the leather jacket.
It's actually Pappy Van Winkle, which is around a $1,500 bottle of bourbon, so
In
it's
the
a
leather
lot
jacket.
of money.
All right, guys, we've all played.
Carla,
what
Phasmophobia. We're
bourbon?
ready for
What
this.
bourbon, right? Carla ducks. It's not anywhere near her, but she goes, shit, he's still throwing stuff around. At which point, another bottle goes flinging across the room, not toward you guys this time, but against one of the walls. You see what looks like a young woman with dark hair, dressed in black, comes scurrying out from behind the bar and around the corner, maybe into a different room, so she's not behind the bar anymore. Yeah,
We
she looks like she's kind of hiding from
see a ghost, or we just see things flying around.
You just see things flying around. You have not seen a ghost anywhere.
Can I open my...
Wizard sight? I was hoping you say that.
Da-da-da.
All right, let me see exactly how we
I'm
did
afraid
that.
he's going to do torturous things to
You're
me.
blind for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
No, that doesn't happen. It's just whatever horror you saw, you can never forget.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
You sure you're not blind?
Do you have wizard
this is-
sight as well? I don't know. Do you have wizard? you have
So,
wizard
can I
sight?
do this in front of my wizard sight? You know, like you get the movie theater?
No, you cannot.
Peek through your finger.
Sure, yeah, no. So you open your wizard sight. You don't have to roll anything yet.
Oh.
Okay, you open your wizard sight. Where are you looking specifically?
I'm looking the direction that from which the things flew.
Okay, so you're looking over towards the bar. Behind the bar, you see a young boy, maybe about the age of 9 or 10. with lots of swirling motes of energy around him, and he's perched on, kind of kneeling on top of the bar, and he's grabbed a bottle and looks like he's getting ready to chuck it somewhere. He's young, dressed in kind of old clothes, maybe from the 1800s, you're not sure. So what else are you going to do?
Hey,
Well, do you want to? Well, you need to make a lore check to see if you understand what you're seeing.
hey, listen.
Hey.
Nothing?
You might throw more bottles.
I would.
Mm.
5.
Even.
5.
All right. He looks very, very angry. You're not sure exactly why, but he looks really, really mad. Just raw anger just all over his face. And of course, you guys can't see this because she's in her wizard's sight. Anything else you want to do, Jody?
I'm going to walk a little closer and say, can I help you?
He turns towards you, and he looks really, really mad, and he says, yes, let me go back to sleep! And he slings the bottle at you. I need an athletics check.
How rude. Especially since my athletics is a 1.
You got 2.
Okay, I got a 2.
Okay. Does he have athletics? No, he doesn't have athletics, so that's good. He only got a +1, so he misses you. Okay. Yeah. So you dodge out of the way of the bottle as it comes flying around. I forgot I left him on the table. It's because I'm using my black dice right now because I'm evil tonight. So Jody, he slings at you. What else are you gonna do?
What's keeping you awake?
He says, I don't know. Someone woke me up. They yelled at me and woke me up. Normally I'm sleeping or maybe just almost asleep, but they woke me up. I want to go back to sleep. And he slings another bottle, not in your direction this time.
What's your name?
Tommy. My name's Tommy. I told you that.
Oh,
and he looks
that's
real.
right.
No, he didn't tell you that. He's just really mad.
Do you normally sleep here in the bar?
I need a rapport check.
I have
She's the
0
only,
rapport.
She's the only person who can hear this voice.
Right.
Okay.
I
Right.
have 0 rapport.
Okay.
So I'm just
Roll well. Even again.
Nada.
+0. You could
It's
use.
not negative.
Are you just gonna? Well, okay. You're trying to get information out of him. You can chat it out of him with rapport.
What about tagging aspects seeking the truth?
Oh, I'll definitely let you do that because you were definitely seeking the truth. So that gives you a +2. He says, normally I sleep in the bar and sometimes I play with the guests. And they don't mind because I'm a kid. But somebody yelled at me and told me to wake up and I can't go back to sleep. Every time I try and go back to sleep, they keep yelling at me. At which point you hear in the background, just as he says that, you hear this scream that just kind of pulses. It's kind of like a ah, 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 and it's got a very steady rhythm to it. It's like every, 3 seconds, maybe every 2 seconds. And you can see how that would get really annoying really quick. Hold on. I need you to make a defense against the sight. So you're going to make a discipline check.
I'm keeping it. 7.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah. No mental stress from it.
Okay.
Not a terribly stressful vision anyway, so yeah.
So when I'm talking to him, do they hear what I'm saying?
Yes, they can hear you. Yes.
So do you hear it yelling every 2 to 3 seconds, just going, ah,
He goes, yes, make it stop! And he puts his hands over his ears and he lets out this scream. And now you are going to need to make a discipline check because this is going to hurt if you don't defend against it.
I'll take
I
it.
respond with, no, I just hear crashing bottles and glasses.
Yeah, that's all you guys hear. That's right.
I got a plus, what is this? Discipline?
Yeah, discipline.
8.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. He lets out this shriek, and it's funny because what the rest of you see is the 1 or 2 or 3 bottles that are still on the wall actually begin vibrating like that. I mean, just in unison. And you're like, is the place going to fall down? And she's talking to, well, nobody that you can see. You're not really sure what's up with that.
As I
Right.
So-
so
I'm-
the
so then
door
while I'm
frame
talking-
is in between me.
Yeah,
and the
right.
glasses.
So nothing can hit
I'm
you.
going to say, okay, Tommy, who looks like he's from the 1800s, if anybody wants to look something up.
Can I
Um,
do a lore check on that?
doesn't the bar have information like histories of people that may have died here and their ghosts?
Oh,
I mean,
Carla
don't they know
said
more about
she,
their ghosts than
Well,
she
just...
said she knew his
Yeah.
name. She told us his name was Tommy, so maybe
Right.
she knows.
So I mean, somebody must.
Well,
I'll
okay,
ask
so
Carla,
Carla
but-
says that Tommy normally just. Well, you know, I mean, she's kind of ducking around she's actually very similar to where you are hiding.
Oh.
Carla is kind of like probably right beside you, actually probably hiding behind you because she's like very small. And so she hides behind you kind of a little bit. She says, yeah, that's Tommy. Normally he just moves stuff around. I don't know why he keeps throwing stuff now.
Is there another person like you, Tommy, here?
Well, every once in a while I get to talk to Pierre, or they call him Antoine. His name's really Pierre. I don't know why they call him Antoine.
Does he dress like you?
Well, no, he's older than me.
Pierre or Antoine seems to be a little older than him, and he's here too. Is he awake too?
He's always awake. And
Have you seen-
he's just, I don't want to talk anymore. He's just, you know, he's really hurting. Discipline
Okay.
check again for your sight.
Sorry, I feel it's somewhat appropriate that, like, as soon as, oh yeah, Tommy, you gotta do the thing, whatever, I'm just like, oh, an owl. Hand on flat little nose, like, can you tell me all you can about Tommy? Let's go to the next room.
A four.
The cute little redhead, right?
A four.
You're still okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, this
All
is
right.
not a terribly intense location in the bar.
Yeah. Okay, Tommy, I'm gonna leave now. Try to stay calm.
Okay, so you got to close your sight, right? Need you to make a lore roll to close your sight.
I got a 2.
All right.
We going for the big boy.
You are not able to close your sight, so it's going to attack you again. Make a discipline check. Oh, you're fine.
There you go.
But the
And now I gotta try it again.
well, no. What happens is you notice that the area after he screamed starts to vibrate and colors start to fly out of the walls, and so it seems like maybe the magical energies here have gotten really stirred up by his shriek, and in fact the magical energies begin pulsing in time with this shrieking, and you're just like, man, and it's really hard to focus. So yeah, now you got to roll again to close your sight. You should be fine. Plus
Yeah,
3.
I got
Yeah.
8.
All right, you're able to close your wizard sight. And I guess the rest of you probably want to step around the corner so you don't get hit by flying bottles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already there, so.
Yeah, you're already there.
He's like,
I want to catch one more.
welcome to the party.
He's not throwing in your direction. He's just smashing stuff on the ground now by the bar. Just and
Actively just going over, like, oh, no, hold
Yeah.
on.
you actually,
something,
some of you
mister?
think you can hear what sounds like screaming coming from the bar area. It's actually loud enough that you actually can hear it in the physical world. It's a little disturbing, you have to say. Yeah, a little disconcerting.
Could you guys hear that shrieking before I told you it was there, or after?
You're not sure. It may be because you now just started listening for it and now you can actually hear it, but you're
Hard
not
to
sure.
say.
All right, I want to go find Carla. Where's Carla? Who took Carla?
She's right by Darwin,
Everyone's
hiding
taking
behind
her
Darwin.
behind the counter.
Hey, Carla, do you know of a ghost named Antoine or Pierre?
Oh yeah, Antoine. Yeah, he's our resident ghost that we always set the bread and the wine out for. He's got a table around the corner in there. And I'm not sure he's going to be there with Tommy making such a ruckus.
And he killed himself, or he was killed?
Yeah, he lost this place in a card game, and something else smashes from the other room. And he says, and so he hung himself upstairs. But we always, leave him out some bread and some wine because, I don't know, he seems pretty nice. I've never actually seen him, but a lot of people say they have. And you can even have dinner with him if you want, and eat at his table. No, most people don't do that.
Are there any other ghosts that are here besides Tommy?
Those are the only ones I
Pierre?
know of are Antoine and Tommy, yeah.
Has anybody new started working here?
Recently? But not really. I've been here for about 6 months. My brother's been here for about maybe a month longer than that. He's the one who got me the job here, but not anybody new that I know of.
Have you had anybody here that have asked to do weird things, like, I don't know, maybe have a seance or
Oh
something
goodness, we've got a
like that?
seance room upstairs. I mean, people always go up there and, have seances, but most of them are just, drinking. They're filling up with another kind of spirit, not the kind of ghostly spirit, so. It's kind of a cool room. Have you guys seen it?
I'm
Show
gonna-
it to
The
you later.
Holy Spirit. Yes.
The Holy
I'm
Spirit.
gonna go up to the seance room. I'm gonna go up to the seance room.
When you do that, you have to walk by, where Antoine's table is. Okay, you walk up the rickety little stairs.
Can
and
I
go up
open my wizard's side of Antoine's table?
Why, of course you can. No, you don't have to roll. You just
That's
open.
not sinister
Okay.
at
Are you
all.
gonna look at Antoine's table?
Better hurry than
Yeah.
this.
You see.
Wait, are any of you with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now they
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
see
yeah.
it. Well, okay. You open your wizard's sight and you look at the
Come on,
table.
lightning bolt.
And you see this guy. He's got kind of dark hair. Looks like maybe he's in his 30s. Mustache kind of twirls up on the ends. Wearing very old clothes, kind of a rough shirt and a vest and a jacket. And he's sitting there like this at the table. You notice he's kind of got his hands over his ears. And every once in a while he'll pick up what you guys see is the glass of wine on the table actually moves back and forth like this. He reaches over and picks up the glass and takes a drink of the wine. You guys see wine spill out on the table. And then he'll look down at the glass and put it down and put his hands over his ears. So,
So they're
He's
just
having a
like,
great time.
oh man, this is crazy. Why? It's always ghosts. I just.
yeah. So yeah, you see what looks like Antoine is sitting at the table.
I'm gonna try to say, Antoine, can you hear me?
It goes, yeah, I can
Ghostbusters.
hear you. Oh my gosh, I got the worst headache and I can't even drink wine to make it go
Do
away.
you know who is screeching?
No, I wish I did. I probably wouldn't do much of anything besides just really wish they would go away and maybe pray for their inevitable demise.
Did you hear a voice yell at Tommy?
They're yelling at me too. It's just that I'm an older ghost and I drink, and so it makes it a little
Easy.
easier to put up with.
When he wouldn't know how to say time.
When did it start?
Yes.
Tonight. No, okay, that's not true. Tommy's been getting more agitated for the last week or so. But it's only tonight that Tommy just really lost it. He says he keeps hearing somebody waking him up. Tonight, though, I can hear what he's talking about. Oh, I need a discipline check, Jody.
Okay.
Sorry, I just keep thinking about it. I just can't take this image of Joe just like, yeah, let's go to the seance room. Just walk around next to the thing, just.
I see dead people.
What is
Uh,
it?
eight.
You are on fire tonight. I like it.
All right. Okay, so it started a week ago.
Right.
Can you tell? Is it louder? Is it the same loudness no matter where you are?
Yeah. Well, I haven't really checked. And he says, let me see. So he takes his hands off his ears and he kind of turns his head to the left and to the right. He says, it's louder towards the back of the restaurant, I think. Yeah. Maybe towards the kitchen?
Okay.
Relatively speaking, was where Tommy is closer to the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very close to the kitchen.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Yes.
So
kitchen, then.
he is close to the kitchen. So let's go. I guess I'll close my. Try to close it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe somebody's getting
Dude, you know
Boiled
what's
alive.
so funny
A 6.
is it?
Yeah, that'll close it. So
Okay.
you close it.
All right, guys. So it seems like I don't know. Did you guys hear
You're
my
sorry?
side of the
saying it'd be funny.
side of
if
the
her box
conversation?
was
So it
ominous.
started a week ago.
Yeah.
He seems to be handling it better because he's older, but he says it's louder
Out of
near the
curiosity,
kitchen.
how long ago did you set that listening box in this restaurant?
I did not set a box in this.
Oh, okay.
That was like no, not this one. But that was only like a couple 3 days.
Oh, that was the
Okay,
cop
okay,
bar, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cop
yeah,
bar.
that's right, that's right.
405?
422.
I was like,
yeah.
what if it's getting like
Yeah.
undead residents or something?
Numbers.
Yeah. I got
All
one
right.
number.
So let's go check out the kitchen.
I'm for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now just remember,
What?
they're gonna be knives.
Yeah. You head
Not
towards the
just bottles
kitchen.
of liquor.
Yeah, you head towards the kitchen around, kind of cutting a wide berth around
Can
the
I hear that
courtyard.
screaming? We can hear the screaming too.
almost anybody who's magically active, you can almost at the edge of your hearing hear this kind of it's not sure if it's screaming as so much as more of like a pulse of air towards your ear. It's almost like somebody's going whoosh right by your ear, and it's just every couple seconds. And you hadn't really noticed it until now.
More intense as we get closer to the kitchen?
It's so light, I'm not sure. If it were an actual noise, maybe, but you could tell. But it's just so faint because none of you are dead. So there you go.
So Volt and Miranda, sorry. Volt and Miranda. Would you guys ask the wait staff if anything weird has happened in the kitchen? Or have they noticed anything unusual in the kitchen while we go?
I'll go find
Y'all
Harry
want to
and
go
Carl.
look with me?
Let's go look.
All right, let's go.
Carla and Carl?
Yeah.
Carla and Carl? Yeah.
Harry and Carl.
Yeah, so you go to Carl and ask him if anything's happened in the kitchen, and he says, anything like weird what?
Whip out like a notepad and start putting on like this like PI voice. See, I don't know anything strange, like sort of. Yeah, you.
Get your hat. Right.
I start looking for my notepad, notice it's gone.
Oh. Carla stole it. Yeah. Miranda stole it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
Any tragic incidents or anything weird in the last week?
No, actually, things have been running pretty smoothly. We've been working on our new brunch menu and stuff like that, but everything's been
on
pretty
the
cool.
brunch menu.
Yeah, what's the new?
Oh well, we just opened for brunch, and so we've been working on the menu for it. Or we're not open for brunch yet, but we're going to be. So we're working on the menu for it.
Okay. Seafood options.
Always.
Okay.
You are in normals.
Has anybody ever died in the kitchen?
Not that I know of. We can ask the cook. He's back there.
Yeah.
So you guys are heading back to the kitchen, right? There's a guy back there with a chef's hat and a white, apron and stuff like that. He's got a little bit of spills. Most of his apron is pretty clean, but he's got a few spills here and there on it. He looks at you, walk into the kitchen, goes, and I guess you guys are probably Carla's with you guys still. Okay. She's probably hiding behind you still. He sees Carla and says, "Hey, Carla, what's going on?"
Hey, I'm here trying to figure out what's going on with the bar, why the bottles are flying around.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tommy always moves stuff around. It makes it absolute murder for the bartenders because he's always moving stuff around, and he thinks it's funny, and I guess kind of sort of it is. Still a pain. But yeah, I don't know what's got him all stirred up or anything like that. He seems pretty like he's throwing stuff around. I thought you guys had a bar fight going out there, but we really don't get bar fights here. So I wasn't sure what was up.
Well, there seems to be some kind of sound coming from near towards this kitchen area. Do you know of anything different that's happened in this kitchen area than has been here before?
No, it's just me. The prep cooks are gone because we're closed. But I'm just kind of prepping stuff for tomorrow, making sure we got the menu set up and ready to go and a few things. Sound? I don't hear anything.
Oh, is there maybe did anything happen outside? Like maybe where you dumped the trash and stuff? Has somebody been here recently? That wasn't supposed to be here.
He says, "Well, no. I mean, you can check out back if you want. Well, let me show you." So he walks towards the back of the kitchen, where there's the big locked door that goes out to dumpsters. He pushes the door and holds it open for you. He says, "Look, I'll leave it open for you, but when it closes, it's going to lock." Sure, it's an alleyway. There's just kind of a little area where there's a bunch of boxes. There's a dumpster with a bunch of leftover the leavings from things they've used for prepping and stuff like that. And it's not a real long alleyway. It's probably maybe 50 feet long. It's about 30 feet wide. And so a dump truck could come down here and definitely could get the dumpster. It's not a real big dumpster either. So yeah, this is a pretty high class restaurant.
I'm looking around the kitchen to see if there's any food left out.
No, it's all been put up, and like I said, he's prepping some of the soups and stuff and getting that ready, but none of it is cooked, so you probably wouldn't want to eat it.
So I'm gonna poke around. Do I see any stains or paper or maybe some kind of magical thing that's
give me an investigation check. Okay.
Investigation.
Anybody else going to make an investigation check?
Are we back? Are we back?
Are
in the
we back
kitchen
there
yet?
yet?
If you're in the kitchen or if you're in the alleyway, make an investigation check.
I got a 2.
Have we met up with them yet?
I got 3.
Okay.
Sure. You got a 2? Okay. 3?
4.
4?
I also got a 4.
4?
Probably gonna get a -2. Nope, I got a 0.
Well, that's not too
Hey,
bad.
that's too bad.
If you got a 4 or higher, you do not detect any magical weirdness in this area. Doesn't seem to be anything out of place. No weird red stains or bullet holes or something like that. Looks like it's actually a reasonably clean back alley because again, this is a nice restaurant, and so they're not going to have just a skanky looking alley where people can have nasty, smelly stuff. It's actually very clean, very well put together. Like I said, all this trash is in the dumpster, not lying around it or anything like that.
I'm gonna go back in and ask if I can see. Do they have a walk-in refrigerator or freezer or something?
Walk-in freezer? Yeah.
Jump on the kitchen and all that. Yeah.
Okay, investigation check if you're... No, were you in the kitchen or were you out back?
I was in the kitchen.
He was
Okay.
in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yeah, they show you the walk-in. Look around. There's lots of meats, lots of seafood. Doesn't seem to be anything untoward. It looks kind of like your standard kitchen. You've been in lots of kitchens since you play gigs, and a lot of times you get to eat after your gig, and a lot of times it's just back there in the kitchen that they'll feed you. So yeah, it seems pretty standard. Doesn't seem anything out of ordinary or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, so what if I open my wizard site again?
Okay. You can do that.
I'm gonna open it in the kitchen, kind of near the door, I guess.
You open your wizard site. You're gonna look out into the alleyway or what?
I'm gonna look around in the kitchen and then open the door to the alley, just kind of to see if.
Make me a lore
Am
check.
I hearing the noise more?
Yeah,
or-
now you can hear the noise. It's much louder back here. Much louder.
7.
All right. You don't see anything weird in the kitchen. The kitchen is the interesting thing about the kitchen is it has this warm, homey feel to it. And when you look over towards the chef or the cook, you see rolling off him in waves this warm energy that just makes you feel like he's a nice guy. And he's kind of over there standing by his food and stuff like that, and you can see that same healthy energy is probably the best way to put it around everything in the kitchen. It seems like this guy really runs a good kitchen. That's your general impression about it. But again, you can still hear that screaming. It's coming from outside the actual restaurant.
Okay.
And so you step out into the alleyway, and it seems like it's coming from maybe the northwest. It is a little louder. I need you to make a discipline check. Oh, you made a discipline check. We got that. So you don't take any damage yet. But yeah, you are definitely... Now, when you step out into the alleyway, you're kind of bombarded a little bit by,
all the stuff.
Well, 1700, New Orleans has been around for a long time. There's a lot of energies out there. There's some dark energies, some light energies, you're near Jackson Square, and of course the cathedral. The cathedral, when you turn left, you look at the cathedral, and it's like a beacon of light to the heavens, and it almost blinds you. And of course you see Jackson Square.
But I would think that I would naturally know that that's going to happen.
Right.
So
well, I don't know. You've never seen it before. And so Jackson Square is just this
Okay.
beacon of bright light. I mean, just huge white light. And you can see that Jackson Square, where actually the Andrew Jackson statue is, there's kind of a weird green, earthy energy coming from there.
You said it's northeast?
Northwest. Northwest. So it's it seems like it's coming from kind of north of the cathedral and maybe to the west some as well.
Are you?
I have a tracking spell, but I couldn't do a tracking spell to track the sound.
No,
could I?
you'd have to have something that you were
Could I
tracking.
use my guide my hand ability to? It says you have a semi-spiritual conscious awareness of where you're needed most. Usually the simplest means you are guided to the right place at the right time. If the GM agrees such circumstances in this is in effect, you need not spend a fate point. Sometimes this might work in reverse.
Is this
I don't know if that's...
Not quite yet.
The other effect that you can use is to spend a fate point to use your conviction skill instead of the other skill point for a
Right.
roll.
Yeah, that's not going to quite help you yet. Jody, you've got your sight open and you're looking around, and all of a sudden the screaming stops. Okay, and you guys no longer hear the whoosh past your ears. And you're like, whoa, what's going on here? And you don't hear any more bottles breaking.
What changed?
All right, I'm gonna go back into Muriel's.
Muriel's, you mean?
Also known as Muriel's.
Okay.
I'm going to go back into Muriel's.
Right. You going back to the bar?
Yes.
Nothing's flying around anymore.
Is
There's
Tommy
decidedly
there?
less angry energy too.
Is Tommy there?
1 o'clock.
Dun-dun-dun.
Is Tommy there?
Do you want to look around?
Yeah.
Open your wizard sight.
Yeah, I haven't closed it.
You don't see him. Are you going to look? Oh, you haven't closed it yet. I need to make another discipline check then. Make sure you don't take damage. You don't see him until you kind of walk around the bar, and you notice he's asleep underneath the bar. He's curled up into one of the little corners, and he's got his hands like this, and he seems like he's kind of sleeping underneath. Yeah, he's very much curled up into a fetal position, kind of just lying under there. Every once in a while he'll shiver, but he's sleeping, it looks like. So
Okay. All right, I'm going to close my wizard sight.
okay, make your discipline check.
4?
Yeah, you're fine. Again, not terribly intense right here in the bar. Bar's actually a newer part.
Okay, so
Now
you
that
think
you've firmly closed that, you sure you didn't want to also take a look at Antonio, see if he's still suffering? Or...
Okay.
You want to open it again? Why not, right?
Yeah.
You go over to Antoine? Okay.
Are you the only one with wizard sight?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I'm going to say somebody.
No,
needs
don't
to get
roll.
me
Don't
a
roll.
drink.
You just open it, okay? You walk over to where Antoine would be seated, and he's sitting there. And you guys see the glass of wine rise up and tip up, and this time the wine doesn't spill out. And so you see him sitting there, and he's kind of, his eyes look a little red, and he looks at you and he goes, "Oh my God, I don't know what you did, but thank God it's gone now."
I was waiting for you to tap me again. Anyway, so
Ask him if it stops at 1.
Antoine, does this normally stop at 1?
He says, "Well, this is the first night I've really actually heard it, so I don't. It is 1 o'clock. Oh, the witching hour has ended. Interesting.
Do you know when it began?
Well, I know Tommy got agitated about a week ago, so maybe he's been hearing it. It's been getting worse, but I don't know.
How long have you heard it? Just tonight?
Just tonight. Yeah.
Just from an hour, 2 hours, 3
No,
hours?
I think it started right about an hour ago, so around midnight. Oh, that is interesting. He looks very intrigued.
I wonder if Tommy's been hearing it continuously for a week or just at midnight to 1 a.m.
I think he's been hearing it.
Oh, he said something's been waking him up.
Yes, it keeps waking him up. It's
So
not
I don't
that he
think
ever
he's
went back
hearing
to
it
sleep.
continuously. Okay. What
getting
happens from midnight to 1 a.m.?
Getting louder.
The witching hour.
We also
Oh,
may
yeah.
we may want to tell the staff to start closing before midnight so they don't get all their bottles broken.
Yeah. So you go.
Temporarily.
Yeah, the bottle.
Yeah.
bottle
Or maybe
broken.
they need to
We clear out the area.
they need to
Yeah,
lock up the bottles.
Like at
before-
11:30, like start
Shuffling
taping
people
things
out,
down
yeah.
or something. I don't know.
All right, so you go to Carla
Duct
and
tape.
you tell her basically that at 1 o'clock you're gonna need that you need to before midnight close the bar, and she goes, "Well, I'm not sure my boss is gonna buy that, but he does believe in ghosts, so maybe if I tell him." She says, "So did you stop what's going on?"
No, it stopped itself, but we think it's going on from midnight until 1.
The witching hour, right?
We have a direction to follow, but I'll follow up with you later.
Is there anything we can do to maybe protect Tommy?
All right, can I use a lore check?
Right?
Or
You deal with that kind of stuff, yeah?
could you do some
This
kind of
place-
This
dampener?
ghost is all new with me, man. We've dealt with ghosts constantly for the past few days.
Anybody
Roll.
anybody who's dealt with ghosts or would like to make a lore check, you may.
Okay.
Sure.
4.
We can like make wards or something, right?
I got a 3.
1,
Wait, no, 2.
2. Okay.
Actually, have lore.
Sorry, this is lore.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2.
Okay. You got it.
4.
4. You could possibly bless the place.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. I didn't know if it had a threshold or not.
Yeah, you're not sure. No, it doesn't. It's a public area. If it does have a threat. But you're thinking you could possibly bless the area, and you're not sure that would. I mean, it might also drive Tommy away, but if nothing else, it might protect him. You're not real sure. Ghosts are not your forte.
Yeah.
Now, those of you who are wizards, you could definitely possibly set up some kind of magic circle around where Tommy's sleeping.
We could do that.
The thaumaturgy stuff.
Thaumaturgy?
That's thaumaturgy.
I'm up for it. You guys up for it?
What are you gonna do?
What's thaumaturgy?
Cone of silence.
Oh, it makes your voice boom to 3 times louder.
Yeah.
Oh,
you did
Yeah.
Open and shut, unlock
Close
doors and
doors.
windows.
That's not understood.
Right,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
dim flames change the color
That's
of
right.
flame.
That's right.
Close your eyes. But it's alright. I just imagine the idea of a magic circle around where he sleeps, and I just thought of a little fancy cat bed. And that was just the only thing that popped in my head.
Yeah, right. You don't have a cat bed.
Oh.
No.
But you
I
do
was
with
thinking
a
a
piece of
little
chalk.
tiny clip fan. So white noise. You know how white noise interferes with other sounds? That's how people
You're
sleep
not
at
sure
night?
that would really work with ghosts. That's a neat idea, though. But yeah,
Okay,
Your
fine.
magical clip fan that makes white noise. You could possibly work that into the
To help ghosts.
circle. Well, no, you could work that into the magic circle,
Yeah.
possibly. So you guys gonna work together?
Magic circle of white noise.
That's right. That's
Could
right.
just send him on to
Well, it's
the
just a
great
block,
beyond,
is what it
form
is.
an exorcism, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Well, the other
guess
option
we
is
could do that.
you're kind of thinking
They-
that possibly you would exorcise him and actually drive him away and send him on to the Never Never. So the afterlife. That's what probably your adoption would
Like,
be.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's
I
an
mean,
option
he is a
if
disturbed
wants to
spirit.
go.
Yeah.
How it's thaumaturgy people are we can make a fancy little thing. He should
make a
be
little
fine if he
ghost
stays there.
cat bed.
And she's over there or he can progress, guys.
Go into the light,
Now this might be wrong,
I
but
could yeet him into paradise.
But
You better say purgatory. Paradise.
but
So what do you want to do?
would Muriel be mad at us if their playful ghost disappeared?
Hey, instead of closing the bar, you could make a profit off of showing people the show.
Yeah, throwing bottles at
have
people
them
tends
sign
to make people
waivers.
unhappy. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say make them sign waivers.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Okay, we'll make the white noise thing then.
Okay, so I'm going to need you guys to... Let me look up thaumaturgy. What I'm going to need you
Take
guys
out my
to
phone and I'm
do...
gonna fill him.
You're going to need to do a block,
Oh, it's
okay?
not- nothing's happening.
You want it to last probably how long?
Nothing's happening anymore.
Probably how long?
We should do that from the
Do you want it to
come
last
in
a
and
couple
carry a
days,
whole
couple
investigative
nights? What are we
TV
talking about here?
Yes. Ghost facers.
Let's set it up for 48 hours
Huh?
if we can.
Well,
ones from
well,
Supernatural,
I mean,
they call
do you want it to last until tomorrow night, or...
I was thinking make it last for 2 days.
Okay, 2 days. So you're gonna probably...
Did you
And
watch
what
some of
kind?
the
What
later
level
seasons?
block are you
'Cause they
thinking
have
of?
a
Plus 5,
positive
plus 6,
actors,
plus 12? What are we
It's
talking about
funny.
here?
I mean, some of them die and then they evolve.
I just remember those
How
main
much
two
does a
guys
block?
who
Does
were
a
just-
6 block? mean?
What's your lore at? That's gonna be the big question. Or
My
your
lore is
lore?
at 5.
Is it 4? All right. So basically, you can.
Are you don't do thaumaturgy?
Every time
Oh, okay.
No, he's an
Like,
instant
see.
magician.
Yeah.
I'm here going, I'm over there drinking bourbon right
I
now.
don't know why I thought you did thaumaturgy.
No.
Okay.
It reminds me of the Bad Luck
Let's
Bandits
go for a
from Critical Role.
6. I mean,
There's
is that just like one level?
My question is, can we do 3 days?
And probably
You could-
Because
10 episodes or so. They
all
could probably find
fairness,
them again, but it
Past
always
few
goes
times
back
we've
to
done
the games,
nighttime
like
activities
the
trying to find
first
someone out. We haven't
like
been
the
able to get it
first time
settled
they
in
were
2
first
days.
brought
True.
them,
All right. Well, let's go for 3 days.
Because we know it's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Keep running into them.
There.
Like, how many times
Right.
are we gonna have to teach you
All right.
guys
So
this
we're
lesson?
thinking 3 days, 3 nights.
Okay. Well,
It's
since
like
you're
that
helping
meme.
her,
Yeah.
that means that you'll have a plus 6 to your lore. You're gonna need probably at least a plus 5 block. To make it last for 2 days is going to be a strength of 10. So you're going to need to either tag some aspects, or accept or inflict some consequences, counting the stress value of the consequence towards the spell's complexity. So you can hurt yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now you're at 6. You need to figure out how to get plus 4.
And can you only tag one aspect per session?
Well, no, per roll.
Okay.
But
all right.
remember, every time you tag an aspect, you got to spend a fate
I
point.
only have 1 fate point, so
Right.
well, I'll spend it, I guess.
Okay.
I'll do
What
the-
aspect are you tagging?
I'm going to do the.
Now remember, you could also tag aspects on the area, like Muriel's is the ghostly. You could
Okay.
see, you could say, well, I'm going to tag the ghostly aspect of Muriel's because it may have that aspect.
Okay, right.
And it does.
Now,
Well, that's what
I was about to ask you.
Yeah.
You told us before,
Yeah.
and it's been a while, but
That's okay.
you said there was something we could do, or we could specifically ask for the relevant aspects of an area or a scene.
Right, you do an assessment.
An assessment.
Right.
Okay.
So you may want to do an assessment first to try and figure out what aspects are maybe on Muriel's. You can do that with investigation. You can do it with what is the thing that you use for your initiative? Alertness. Probably going to be more along the lines of investigation or lore. I'll let you do either one, and I'll let anybody make that assessment because anybody can tag aspects.
I'm drunk.
Yeah, that bourbon's hitting
Wow, yeah, you were having fun.
He got some of the good stuff that
Yeah,
was
no
flying through the
kidding.
air.
Bottle of tequila, whatever. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
An assessment is what kind of roll?
At least not one, right?
It can be an investigation or lore.
Saved it.
Okay.
Yes, I saved it.
3.
I got a 4.
No, 2.
Okay.
What'd you get?
I got a
One.
4.
All right, 4. You definitely think that probably one of the aspects on Muriel's is friendly ghosts. That would definitely make sense.
I got a -1.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Whenever I looked at it, they were all blank.
No,
Okay.
sorry, but I appreciate the.
Now, for you, Trevor, you're kind of looking around, looking at things. You know that she says something about friendly ghosts. Look at Muriel's. You notice that Muriel's has a dark past. Okay.
All right.
Now let me change that. You notice that Antoine seemed rather friendly. He seems like he drinks and knows things.
Nice.
So Antoine drinks and knows things.
Also really short.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah, drinks and knows things. So you could probably tag those aspects because Antoine, if you asked for his help, would probably be willing to help you. He certainly was not enjoying the noise. And you can definitely tag friendly ghost. I mean, that's...
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
But
Well, now, actually, each of you could tag friendly ghosts with an aspect. Well, I think only one tag. So
Yeah,
one.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
So you couldn't both tag it. Never mind.
I was gonna say Antoine could be quite helpful with what we're trying to do, especially since I mean I understand Antoine didn't like the sound by any means, but he did seem to be pretty resilient towards it,
Yeah.
as opposed to Tommy, who was literally throwing things at people.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so-
Antoine's probably about 100 years older, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, you going to tag those aspects?
Yeah. Do I need to go talk to Antoine?
You
again?
will. You'll probably need to open your sight again. Make me a
Okay.
discipline check again.
Well, open my side.
Still all right.
Yep. I got a 5.
All right. So you go around the corner, see Antoine. He's sitting there, and he seems much calmer. He's drinking. And he says, "Oh, you're back again. Can I help you with something?"
I was wondering if you could do Tommy and myself a favor.
Okay.
Oh, well, what do you need?
My friend and I would like to set up a spell around where Tommy sleeps to kind of insulate him from the sound should it appear in the next 3 days.
Well, sure, I'd be glad to help you.
Midnight.
But
Okay.
I am going to make a request. I need you to do the same thing around my table.
Okay.
It gives me the worst headache. So I'm going to need you to do that too,
Okay.
which means it's going to be a larger circle.
Yeah.
Which really what that means is that you're going to need to do an extra target, which now that means your spell is a strength 11. And that's where the problem is.
Maybe to hold hands and sing Kumbaya or something.
Which means one of you is probably going to have to take a 1 stress mental hit.
I'll take it.
I'll do that.
All right. So now what you need to do for your
I
counter-
have 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Now what you need to do is start
Then
making
yes, you can
discipline checks. I'll let you alternate who rolls for them. You need to get up to 11 total discipline. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, I'm going to put this much power into the spell this round, and you're going to put this much in the next round, and then I'm going to put this much. So if any of you fails a check, any of the power that you've stored up hits you as a strike.
Ow.
Yeah. So don't roll.
Okay.
Well, no. You can also
I'm just
go.
kidding.
You can do a +3 strength, and then +3, and then +3, and then finish it up with +2. So you can take as long as you want.
And we need 11?
Yeah, you need 11.
3.
You probably want to choose a power rating that you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get.
Yeah.
All right.
Something cool.
Then for penny for okay. So let's start it.
Letters
Okay?
and numbers.
Make your discipline check. What'd you get?
A 4.
Okay, so you got 3 strength into it now. Your turn to roll.
We'll do 3 as well. All right, yeah. You got a 4.
3 more into it, so you're at 6. Your turn, Jody.
2, 3,
What'd you get?
4.
Okay, you're still okay. Last 2 are for you.
Last
all you use is
2.
+2,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
And that is exactly 2.
All right, so you're fine. All right, so you take your Sharpie marker.
I won't be nervous anymore.
Carla and Carl are a little confused about why you're drawing a big black circle on the floor. Okay, so you take your Sharpie marker and you draw this big circle. It extends from behind the bar all the way out into the hallway, kind of up the wall and around. And Carla's like, "Oh my gosh, my boss is gonna kill me." And she says, "But look, he believes in ghosts. He'll understand. And look, he knows that magic exists, sort of, because I've shown him a few things, so it's okay."
Give him this.
Oh, the card? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Don't share it with anyone else, but
I just like to imagine like actually drawing a thing around like, oh no, wait, what it is? Like, don't worry. Have a good idea what we're doing. You guys called us.
We like flash
called
our
us,
like
yeah.
dime store
badges.
badges.
With the glitter.
Yeah.
So you draw this around, and as you
What
get back to the
DCCs? We don't know what
beginning,
it
you
means.
kind
Here.
of exert a little bit of your will, and the circle closes, and you feel this kind of thrum go
Della's
out.
counter cops.
And almost immediately, you can kind of hear this shh that starts, and then it kind of
I don't know.
fades away. And Antoine goes, "Oh wow, that's really kind of soothing, huh? I like that. You guys should come back more often. We definitely have drinks, and I could tell you all kinds of things. You'd be surprised what a ghost finds out up from the other side." And so he says, "Thank you. Oh, that's great." Carla goes, "Okay, you gave Carla the card, right?" She says, "Well, no, my boss knows. Hey, you guys were doing thaumaturgy, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Bing, 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 bing.
Are you
What?
familiar with
What?
them?
Where does that? I've never heard of this
I'm
word
gonna.
before.
I'm gonna.
Are you a
Hey,
thaumaturge?
wait. I'm doing this.
No, I don't do thaumaturgy, but
I was gonna go. Yes. How did you know?
why are you? Okay, anyway, she
Are you
goes.
touching me?
Because if I'm touching Carla.
Okay,
Oh, Carla,
like,
I was trying to figure out
why
why
you
you were
touching
touching
Volt?
Volt and then looking at
Okay.
her. I'm like,
I
what?
thought-
yeah, I totally do thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
Lightning breath.
I thought if I went this, you wouldn't know what I was doing.
No. Oh well. She goes. Well, no, I don't do. I mean, I understand what ritual magic is, but I've never had much aptitude for it. My stuff tends
But
to
I
be
don't
more.
feel a tingle.
Oh no, when you touch her, yeah, you feel a tingle. It's actually reasonably strong.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You've never been a part of it?
What do you mean? Thaumaturgy? I'm just no good at it.
Do you do magic?
Oh yeah. That's why
She's
my
just saying that.
that's why my
Oh, I wasn't
boss
listening to her. Sorry.
understands what's going on. My stuff tends to run into the little more subtle air magic and water magic, though I have a real affinity for lightning for some reason, which is weird.
I forgot, like,
What?
do you?
Yeah, and no formal training, but I've figured some things out. She goes like watch, and she looks over at the table, and the one of the salt shakers is there, and she goes, and it pops into her hand. She goes, "See, kind of cool, huh? I can move stuff around."
I reach
And she
into
puts
my
it back on the
pocket.
table.
I reach into my pocket and say, should you want to become more serious about
You
it?
gave her a card already.
That was for her boss.
Oh, okay. She'll take another
Should
one.
you want to be more serious about it? Here's my card for you.
Wait, you could teach me?
Yes.
So take an apprentice? I could be your apprentice?
Ish, yes.
Well, my brother does stuff too.
Does he?
Well, we're twins.
Plot of Scythe. They're gonna end up in a death match and have to kill each other.
That's right.
Ooh, I'm selling tickets.
Wow. So that got dark.
I've got Herman.
You haven't read Scythe?
Oh gosh.
Good. Fucking
Anyway,
so
so I'll say, okay, I'll go talk to Carl too and see what he thinks.
All right, so you go find Carl, and Carl goes, has Carla been telling you she can do magic again?
Yes.
I should have made
Look,
him more beefier, but that's their like.
she says we're twins, so we can both do magic or something like that. She goes, look, I'll show you what kind of magic I can do. And he reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a quarter and goes, and it's gone. And he goes, it's behind your ear.
I check
I
behind
look
my
at
ear.
his hand.
I check behind my ears.
Well, he looks at
Like,
you,
that was so
and actually,
cool.
weird thing about it, you reach behind your ear, and there's the quarter's there. And he goes, see, anybody can do magic. He didn't touch your ear.
No, I know.
It'd really funny if we started pulling quarters behind.
He didn't touch your ear.
Hey, put one behind my ear. Put one behind my ear.
Okay, hold on. Let me get the quarter back.
I'll give him
Okay.
a quarter.
I have a question. This is like a game question.
Yeah.
If I use my wizard eye while he does this, can I see whether or not he's doing magic?
You can check. You want to
Okay.
see? So you ask him to do it again? Mm-hmm. Okay. He says,
But on her.
really?
She really
On
wants
Me
her.
this time, me
Okay.
this time.
She's
All
like
right, sure.
literally vibrating
He says,
over
look,
in the corner.
he says, look, and just to let you know that it's not a trick, he takes
I imagine
the,
like a little
he says, you got your
sign.
Sharpie marker? he writes, C on the quarter, and he goes, watch, and you got your window side open?
Yes.
Make a lore check.
Oh.
Okay. He takes it and
I was like, Lord, don't fail me
all right,
now. 7.
what you see happen is that he takes his hands, and when he covers it like this, the coin actually disappears from his hand through what looks like a little tiny rift in the Never Never, into the Never Never, and then it's like something reaches out and puts it behind her ear. It's not his hand. Okay? She's blown away. He goes, look, it's a trick. The guy in
I didn't
Jackson
even feel
Square does the same kind of magic all day
I didn't
long.
even feel it. I didn't even feel it. Swear to God, I'm not a plant. I didn't even feel it.
I'm not a plant. Yeah, you look pretty human to me.
That's right.
So I'm
Believe-
going to say, Carl. And when I do, and I'm going to put my hand on his
you okay?
shoulder.
Yeah, you get a much weaker
Yes.
spark, but
Yes.
he's definitely a practitioner. Now, he may be in disbelief, too.
I understand that you think everyone can do what you do.
My sister's just crazy. I mean, okay, she's my sister, so she's not crazy, but, I love her. But magic, come on, really?
Okay. You know what?
You gonna ice knife him? That's not really a nice thing to do.
I'm not going
To
to
kill somebody with magic, that's breaking the seventh law.
I'm not going to ice
Look,
knife
magic's
him.
real.
He died a believer.
Now look,
That's right.
I can do a whirlwind, but I don't want it to knock everybody prone.
Oh,
I just want
God.
to do what?
You gonna summon a whirlwind in the middle of the freaking bar?
Why don't you just
I wanna
make
do
a
some
little one in
whirlwind.
your
Wait,
hand?
Well, that's okay.
can-
Okay, you don't have to roll for that.
I got this.
Cosmetic
do a
stuff
little-
is just free.
I'm going to do a
Anybody got a
whirlwind.
deck of cards?
I don't think anybody's got a deck of cards with them, actually.
So I'm going to say, watch this. And I'm just going to, wave my hand at him, and he's going to get...
He goes, look, Carla does that all the time with the salt shakers. I can't seem to figure out where the wires are and stuff like that. But look, it's a trick. I understand. You guys are really good. Ha ha, you fooled me. Fine, I get
I'll
it.
pull out the sword.
Oh my gosh, you've got a sword! And he kind of
Yeah.
freaks out a little bit.
But it
Doesn't do
should be
it.
flaming.
Doesn't
Why would
look-
we
doesn't
flame?
do anything.
Flame?
I can't use it.
It's a
How
cavalry.
open is this area?
I'm acting,
Not really.
and
You're
I
kinda-
can't actually
you're kinda
attack
in
him
the-
because that's not a pure part.
Probably don't want to do that.
Okay.
You're going to wind up taking a wall out, actually, yeah.
What are we doing?
Huh?
It's okay.
So-
Carl,
Okay, I
if you
put-
ever
I put
change
the
your
sword
mind, talk to your sister. She knows how to get in touch with you.
Sure, got it.
But we
Hey,
think we fixed the thing with Tommy for now,
yeah.
but it'll take a few days.
Well, ghosts are real.
We'll come back.
I mean, we know that, but
Oh,
magic.
so it's
come on.
magic, but that's okay.
Right. Sure.
Magic is
Bugs
real.
going, wait, ghosts are real, but magic isn't. Sure.
Not
Okay.
Somebody help me out here.
I mean,
I don't want to ice him.
That seems kinda
Pull
counter-
out and then
Why?
just like start moving stuff around. And,
Why would icing someone be on like your
Right.
radar for this? So they just hit him in the chest. He's like, "Hey, we can throw an icicle."
That's what I'm afraid of. No matter what we do, it's like, oh, anybody can do that.
Yeah. All right.
Green lightning. Oh, anybody can do that.
So you head out of Muriel's. Carla actually kind of walks you to the door, and she's like, "Look, I'm gonna get in touch with you. I need some
Please do.
training."
Please do.
And I don't know if my brother will be interested, but hey, I want to learn to get better at this.
You know, if he doesn't want it, that's fine.
Oh, I know. But look, I think, yeah, I'll definitely be in touch. This is so cool.
Okay.
And so it's funny because you can tell she's in her 20s, but when you start talking to her about teaching her magic, you swear she was 14. She's not much taller than most 14-year-olds anyway. She's really excited. And so they close the door. You can hear them lock up behind you. Looks like a lot of cleaning going to be going on late into the night, probably, especially in the bar room. It's around 1:15, maybe 1:20. You guys are getting a little tired. Now, this is normal time for you. You're not tired. You're good. But yeah, you're ready for 2 more sets. But the rest of you are getting a little tired, especially those of you who got a bit more.
Determine that the direction from which the sound was coming from.
Northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah.
So what's?
You have a gig?
No, I mean,
But he's awake enough. He
Yeah.
can play another one. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
do we
fiber
know?
gig?
Like we know. But what is to the northwest?
A lot of stuff. You know.
Anything that would kind of make us go.
let's see.
I mean, we live here.
Cemeteries,
just
maybe,
mean-
or
yeah.
Let's see. North of you guys. Let me see if I can find my cute.
Oh, sorry.
map.
She said cemeteries. First thing is like ghost partying, making a bunch of noise.
Yeah,
Obviously,
right.
neighbors.
Well, yeah.
That's just
lock complaint. We'll just get the no.
Well, like Louis Armstrong Park is kind of north of you. The Sanger Theater is a little further west of you.
Phantom of the Opera.
Boom.
Let's see. Let's see. What is that? Actually, Marie Laveau's Voodoo Emporium is just a couple blocks north of here and a little west. Make me a.
Maybe she.
Do we know anything about Darwin's experience? Did he share any of that with us?
I don't know.
Dela, do
Which
we
No, I don't think he
know
did.
of
No, he did
any
not.
Other,
Because she asked him not to.
haunts in that
Yeah,
general
but
direction?
where-
Like, do we
Ooh,
know
Marie
any
Laveau's
other
place.
ghosts
Yeah. She.
that
You
we
did
could
not
talk
share.
to
Yeah,
any
no,
closer
that-
to the
that-
direction of the thing?
If you're trying to
He
figure
asked me to
out.
open a wizard site repeatedly in New Orleans.
Well, I'm asking if
yes.
I'm asking
Yes,
if
actually.
we know of any specific ghosts who live
Do
closer
you
to
know how
the
many
site.
people have died there in
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah,
ways?
you really don't wanna open
Are
you're out
none
the
of
wizard
these
site.
people passing on? Like, that is.
Well, it doesn't matter because they leave a psychic footprint that's real, especially if it's a violent death. Even somebody who's not a ghost.
It's
if
not
somebody
like their soul necessarily.
No,
like
it's just it's a really intense emotion that will bombard her, and that's what the problem is. You know, Muriel's
Got you.
kind of a restaurant, not a really strong threshold. People are happy there. They're eating. A lot of them have a good bit of money, and they're enjoying themselves. Nothing really dark. Besides, about 300 years ago when Antoine killed himself.
Yeah.
Out on the street, there's a lot of darkness out on the streets
Yeah.
of New Orleans.
Which is why I didn't walk towards the thing
Right,
with my...
That could be pretty intense. It might be really hard for her to close her sight. is the big
Maybe
thing.
we could
die.
regroup tomorrow or something and hit up
Yeah, you
Marie
could.
Laveau's. It's in that general direction.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another practitioner has heard the sound. I don't know. If
Is
we
this
can't find
the
another ghost.
Day of the funeral?
Yeah, this is still Monday when the funeral ended. Yeah, it's been a busy day.
Realistically, I would be tired.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Well, if you want to go check stuff out, but going by yourself is never a good idea.
I'll go with Bo.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
yeah, we
you
could
wake
do a
up late
lake
too, don't
crew
you?
and a
Sure.
and a-
No, you woke up early today because you were working on stuff, but that's still fine.
Yeah.
All right, so
I can ignore a whole night's rest because of inhuman toughness.
this is true. This is true. So who's heading home to their various places?
I don't want to. I'm
I
just
got up
asking myself.
You're-
Realistically, I don't
you're
think
pretty
I could
tired.
stay
I
Yeah.
like cooked a really huge meal today and
Well, and you also went to a funeral, and you were up early and some stuff like that. So
right.
you three are heading home.
Yes.
All right. So you guys probably catch a bus, streetcar. There's probably one or two of them running this late, or if nothing else,
Inhuman recovery is what it is.
give Bolt like $2.50 worth of crumpled dollars to give me a ride home.
There you go.
Sure.
Well, actually, that's true. He could drop all of you at home, and then you guys could head wherever you want to go. So you drop
Thanks, Volt.
the other three off. You guys are in Volt's car, his Impala, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chevy Impala.
the orange Impala.
La, la, la.
Orange?
Just throwing, no, it's black, right?
Yeah, maybe black.
Like, hold on.
Oh, an orange.
dark
Oh.
forest green.
Yeah, the dark forest green. That might be all right. So where are you guys going?
I mean, just
cruising the
What?
French
I mean, just trying to,
Yeah, I
just kind of,
Look for anything weird, out of
Yeah,
place,
alright.
suspicious.
Are
Are there any other people fleeing?
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's not. But you drive down to the French Quarter, kind of where all these different places are. You pass by Marie Laveau's. The streets, some of the streets are closed, but the street that goes by Marie Laveau's is open. It's closed.
Muriel is it closed?
Yeah, it's closed. There's a few late night eateries that are open. Most of them look kind of like diners. There's a pizza place. Several of the bars are still open. I mean, it is New Orleans. They're going to be open probably most of the night.
Would there be any like street witches or mages about? People who look the type that could help?
The only ones you know of that you guys have heard, that you've heard them talking about are the ones who kind of hang around Jackson Square and read cards and tea leaves and stuff like that. And they all close up around 7 or 8 o'clock and head
Okay.
home. Nighttime's not a good
Probably
time.
smart.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to be
So,
out when the
yeah.
cats are at Jackson Square.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also notice that you're driving down by Lafitte's blacksmith shop, which is the oldest bar in town, and there's a group of people standing out front that are kind of talking. There's not a lot of people there. It's kind of a little late, and as you come by, they seem like they're very agitated about something.
You want to check them out?
You stop, roll down your window.
yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere to really park.
Yeah, I guess we'll listen first.
Okay, one of them was like, "Oh man, I saw him! I swear, I saw him." And the other guy goes, "Yeah, I smell the cigar smoke." And I told him, I told him to put that thing out. And well, he told me what I could do with his cigar if I wanted to. Man, what a jerk! What an asshole! Yeah, and so they're kind of agitated.
So, what's going on? Hey,
Some jerk in there was smoking a cigar in Lafitte's, and it's a no smoking area. I mean, come on, it's 2010. Everybody knows better than to smoke inside a bar. You get cancer that way. So I told him to put out his cigar, and he told me what I could do with his cigar and how to get there. And I was like, man, you asshole. And I turned around to tell the bartender that they needed to throw this guy out, and the guy was gone. Good thing he ran. I would have taken him down.
what do you look like?
Kind of, I don't know, maybe 40s, dark hair, beard and mustache. I didn't really notice much other than that. The fact that he had a cigar, an asshole.
Do you know what he's wearing?
Well, I was really just mainly focused on the cigar, because
Good cigar. Could you tell? You a cigar guy?
cigars are gross. Yeah. This guy's probably in his 20s. He's wearing skinny jeans. He's got, he's very much a hipster, Now, if it had been patchouli oil, that'd been all right. Just kidding. No, he's very much a hipster. He's not in cigars.
It's not a hookah bar, man.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, if it was a hookah bar,
Is
he'd
he
been all
currently
over it.
vaping outside?
Yeah, yeah. So, this is a little before vaping, probably. Yeah.
Did he say anything? I mean,
Yeah, just told me that if I wanted him to put out a cigar, he'd put it out in my,
So about what time were all this going down?
I don't know, about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, what time is it now?
It's about 1:45, probably. Yeah.
Can we track the cigar smoke?
Maybe turn off the car, park on the side of the road, and go in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, you pull over to the side of the road. It's not a real good place to park because the police could ticket you. But one of the guys will just go by a sweet car, by the way, man. And so you go inside. Yeah, you walk inside the bar. There's a woman behind the bar, really smoking hot looking woman. She's obviously the bartender or owner. Her name. Well, anyway, she's dressed in kind of a pirate's wench outfit. Got the head, the head thing and the kind of off the shoulder blouse, the little leather bustier. She's really pretty, and she goes, "What you having?" As you walk in the door.
Bud Light.
Well, okay. What do you have?
Whiskey straight.
Whiskey. Well, we do have purple drink, and then we also have a hurricane. Our hurricanes are better than Pat O's. You sure you don't want something like that?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay. Bud Light, got it. Coming up. Tells you that'll be $4. And you want whiskey straight? Any particular whiskey?
Bullet Rye.
All right, got that. She that'll be $5. Okay.
Throw in a tip too.
Okay, cool. You look around and what are you gonna do?
Anything weird? I mean, we heard somebody outside talking about some dude.
Some hipster said some guy was smoking in here. Look, it's the ghost of Jean Lafitte. He shows up every once in a while. and we've got this guy, Ken, who likes to sit by the window and blow his cigar smoke in, and people will go, I smell the cigar smoke, and so it's great for business. But these guys said they actually saw him sitting in the corner, and told him to put out a cigar, and he told him he put his cigar out on their asses if they didn't leave him alone. So yeah, they got kind of indignant and things, but I didn't see him, But
So this just happened like a few minutes ago.
it happens all the time.
All the time. But no, so them actually showing up and threatening people. Does that happen?
Well, okay. No. The ghost has been here for years. But the whole thing with she kind of looks a little thoughtful. She says, but actually the thing with threatening to put out the cigars on people's asses and things like that, that's been kind of a recent thing. Most of the time he just kind of sits and smokes in the corner, and when people walk over to him, he disappears. At least that's what they say. I've never seen him. I figure they're also maybe a little drunk or, something else. She says, but yeah, the whole putting cigars out on people is kind of new. Huh. I hadn't thought about that. She looks a little puzzled.
Does he frequent anywhere else besides here?
No, this is his bar.
So he's gone. He like we can't see him or anything, or it's like is he?
He sits at the corner table when he's sitting there. You can check.
Yeah, look over there and see.
Yeah, okay.
There's a piano though, and there's over there. Just the piano player went home. It's kind of late, but it's a quiet night. It's Monday, but yeah, he normally shows up. If Lafitte's ghost supposedly shows up, he sits at the corner table over there.
Let's go look around over there just to see.
Yeah.
Cool. There is a round table sitting kind of close to the wall. There's got about 6 chairs around it. There's one particular chair in the corner that's pulled out. Now, you're not sure if ghosts are about to pull out chairs. Could be not. Not sure.
Well,
I had one throw my microwave oven on the ground.
That's true.
So I believe they can pull out chairs.
sit down next to it and go, hey, Gene, if you're around,
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to talk with you.
Nothing.
I know there's been some noises we're looking into, and then maybe if it's agitating you.
Make me an alertness check.
One.
Can I?
Yeah, sure. You sitting down at the table too?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do a little.
Drink your whiskey and drink your Bud Light. Sure.
That's a 3.
Okay. There's looks like cigar ashes on the table. That's a little interesting.
I'll point that out.
Well, and as soon as you touch them, they kind of go and turn into this kind of gooey
Ectoplasm
mess.
type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like ectoplasm, which you remember from the Never Never. Yeah. Well, it's not very much, but you just kind of this weird kind of soapy feeling.
I'll
that
wipe
you get.
it on the chair.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that would track with a ghost smoking a cigar, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. Doesn't seem to be anything there now.
All right. Well,
He was here.
he was here. Something weird's happening with the ghost.
Maybe the angry sound is making him threaten people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's grumpy now because.
Yeah.
Old ghost. Jean Lafitte's been around for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's,
Probably longer than the United States has been a country. So he's from the 1600s. He's an old ghost. So yeah.
No, it's just another data point.
Yeah.
One of the guys from the outside comes in and says, "Hey man, the police are coming. You might want to move your car."
All right.
Okay.
Hop in the car.
Yeah.
Sure enough, there's a policeman. He pulls up behind you and he kind of looks at you as you get in the car and drives on past and doesn't stop.
Good guy,
Hop in the
looking
car. What are you gonna do now?
Yeah, I'll fist bump the guy and say, "Thanks, brother."
Yeah, thanks,
Brother.
No problem, man. Brother.
You get in the car, drive off, come back later. Thanks, man.
We're doing a drive-by fist bump. Give him the $1,500 phone.
Yeah. Wow. That would be a serious fist bump. So you guys hop back in the car, pull away from the curb. What are you gonna do?
Any other place we can check
Yeah,
out?
I guess do one more round to
yeah,
see if there's anything else going on.
You head down the street, and you're driving by the infamous LaLaurie Mansion, which is one of the most haunted houses in New Orleans. That's the one where they had the slaves that were being tortured, probably by the owner, Dr. LaLaurie. The lights on, and on the porch, and it's got this beautiful wooden door. As you guys pull up, this man steps off of the porch and onto the sidewalk and waves at your car.
I'd slow down and roll the window down.
Okay, he's on basically the same side as Bunk,
Okay.
and he looks at you and says, "Hey, you don't know me. Look, tell Miranda to give me a call."
What's this guy look like?
Kind of curlyish hair.
So who's me?
Oh, sorry. He says Gabriel Beaumont.
Gabriel Beaumont.
Yeah, this is my house. But I need to talk to Miranda.
Okay. Now, how did you know that we would know who she is?
He looks at you and
Because
says,
I've known her for like 2 days.
he
Details.
He looks at you and he says, "The Lord works in mysterious ways." And then
Does he seem religious?
he is wearing a cross. I mean, but lots of people wear little silver crosses or gold crosses, and you're not sure.
And lots of people say the Lord works mysterious ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
It's a complete stranger.
I think of Boondock Saints every time.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. True.
But yeah, he says, look, get her to call me. She may have my number. If she doesn't, he says, here's my number, and he gives it to you, which is kind of weird to give your number to complete strangers. Yeah, he says, but name's Gabriel. Please get her to contact me.
So you seem like, right, since you know this kind of stuff, we are just trying to figure out. There have been some ghosts in the area. Have been having issues because of a scream or something that's emanating from the area, and we've been just trying to figure out where it's coming from. And
He looks at you guys really,
I
really
flashed the badge.
closely.
we've got the badge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. He looks at you guys and he says, "You got a minute?"
Well, yeah.
Sure.
This guy looks like he's probably about maybe 40, 50 years old. Actually, I got a picture of him.
We got him in as a dangerous line.
Yeah, it is.
Usually it's
Yep.
3 hours later.
You're trying to get away.
Like,
okay, here we go.
coordinating.
Sign.
See the gentleman with the black beard and kind of curly hair?
Yeah.
That's Gabriel Beaumont. Beaumont, yeah. Yep. Nice looking guy. Beaumont, yeah.
Yeah, he looks nice.
Nice looking guy. Got a good smile. He looks at you and he says, "If you've got a minute, park your car. The police should leave it alone since you're right outside my house. They tend to, leave most things alone that are outside my house. In fact, they really don't want much to do with my house at all."
Sounds like a great idea.
He says, "Look, bring the bottle of bourbon you've got." And he says, "Follow me."
Boom shakalaka.
Well, it's a little bit of a bulge in your,
I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right.
He says, "Come on." And so he heads towards the front door of the house, opens it, and it's this huge door. Opens it. You go into
For the next blood sacrifice.
you open it, and the lights are on in the house. We've got thick curtains on the windows, so you cannot see them. But this is a bit of a tourist attraction, so you probably don't want people looking in your house at all hours of the night anyway. The lights are on, though. It's very nice, warm, and cozy. But immediately when you walk into the door, he says, "You're going to notice that it feels kind of cold in here. There's a lot of restless spirits in here. That's why I have the house. So, well, here, you'll see." And you step across the threshold. Now, by stepping across the threshold, you're going to leave a lot of your power behind unless he invites you in. And he has not invited you in. But you step in, and immediately, oh my gosh, you feel like you've stepped into the walk-in freezer at the restaurant. It is so cold. And you think you hear the rattling of chains and maybe moans, and then as you're there, the ceiling above you goes boom, 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 boom. He goes, "Yeah, that's a kind of a new thing. When I first was given this house by the church, it was because they knew that I could calm the restless spirits. But they're not calm anymore. There's something really bad going on, and I'm not sure what it is."
So that's one of the things we're working with Miranda, is trying to figure out what's going on, because the same thing at Muriel's when the ghost is there was acting up at Jean Lafitte's
The blacksmith.
It's So we're trying to pinpoint it, and we know it's been. We're kind of working our way from Muriel's to the blacksmith to, I guess, here. So it's in this direction. It seems to be more powerful as we come this way.
Well, actually, you've gone east, so you've gone the wrong direction.
Oh,
but well, no, yeah, well, here's
Okay,
here.
so we're
Here's Muriel's. Lafitte's is kind of this way, and then, but he's still feeling the effects of it even further east. So the opposite direction would be west. But you have to kind of snake through the French Quarter because there's lots of one-way streets and stuff like that. And he says, I'm not a wizard. I'm not a practitioner. Just really a man of God. And that was why I can soothe the spirits with my prayers. In fact, I've been pretty effective, but this is new. My prayers are not soothing them anymore. Something, someone, I don't know, something is stirring the ghosts up, and they are really not happy.
So yeah, we have with our our little crew, we've kind of figured out that during the witching hour, there's some emanation happening that is disturbing, and it has. We think that it has grown stronger as the days have gone on, and so so northwest of or west of here, northwest of here. Anything you could think of that we could look into?
Well, there's a couple things it could be. Well, west of here is St. Louis Cemetery, number one. It's kind of the big cemetery. I don't know. There's also a couple that just moved here from Los Angeles. I don't remember their names, but they opened this museum called the Museum of Death.
When do they open that?
Goodness. It was about a year ago, maybe. So about a year ago, they opened the Museum of Death. Yeah, I don't know. It could be either one of those, but I would think that museums of death would maybe cause restless spirits or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, the St. Louis Cemetery and then also the Museum of Death would be the only things I could think of that would be west of here, really, unless you get out in the Garden District, and then who knows.
Okay.
So yeah,
those are two good leads.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, like I said, get Miranda to give me a call tomorrow, and if you guys want to come too, he reaches over and he gets over one of the shelves and pulls up these little crystal glasses and straight around the rocks.
Stab me straight.
I'm just gonna pour.
Okay. Well, he has a little ice bucket. He was gonna put, so he puts the glasses out and he says straight around the rocks.
Straight.
Okay.
Straight.
So you pour a little shot of each, right? He goes, Pappy Van Winkle. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
It was thrown.
Okay. Yeah.
Man of God, remember?
It was sent to us by a woman of God.
He goes, sure.
She caught it in the air and handed it to me.
Oh, true. Miranda.
Miranda, yeah.
She is quick, yes. Which you're like, well, you're not there. So each of you grabs and he picks it up and he goes, L'chaim. And then,
L'chaim.
which, it's Hebrew. Which is kind of weird, but, who knows. You do a shot and he says, well, look, let Miranda know, and if you have any leads or need any help with anything, I do know a few people at the cathedral. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay.
I appreciate your help, and if you can think of anything that might maybe settle these spirits down in my house. It's getting a little hard to sleep sometimes, but yeah.
We've got a grade A wizard that could do some suppression stuff.
A wizard, interesting. Wizards are good to have around. That's for
I feel
sure.
comfortable giving out information to this guy.
Yeah. I'm like.
He seems like a reasonable.
Starting to get the feeling it doesn't matter with this guy. I mean, it seems like he just has the information.
Yeah.
It's,
God's whispering in his ear.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or something.
So you guys head out to the car.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a swing by the cemetery?
Yeah, just to see if there's
Yeah.
anything,
Doesn't
Maybe
look...
beat up some punks.
Well, you probably don't want to go into the cemetery because there's muggers are bad news, and
I'm so ready.
Well, the guns do. It's bullets can be bad. So
This is true, but I am a dragon.
We already vampires too. Just
but the gates are locked anyway. So most of the time they're locked at nighttime. I mean, you could climb the fence and pop inside if you want, but you're kind of like, I don't know. Cemeteries have fences not just to keep people out, but sometimes they're to also keep things in. And if you've got restless ghosts, there's going to be a lot of ghosts in the cemetery. So maybe with some backup, possibly. But anyway, you drive by. It looks quiet. There's you don't see anything weird going on. No lights. Nobody's sneaking in or out. It looks pretty quiet. You drive by the Museum of Death, and sure enough, there's a Museum of Death there. It looks like it's in kind of an old, maybe might be an office building or maybe like a little mall front or something like that. It's a Museum of Death, and then it's got big glass windows and stuff like that. Not very. Doesn't look very scary.
When does it open? Does it say?
You can kind of look. It opens the next morning at 10. So yeah.
Okay, get a checkout number and then.
That's right. And so you guys head on home, right?
Yeah.
I reckon.
Today on the Dresden Download, we're going to talk about wizards. Now, we've already talked about the types of magic that wizards wield. They wield the magic of thaumaturgy, which is slow magic, ritual magic, and then evocation, which is fast magic, throwing fireballs, veils, different things like that. But wizards also wield other powers that they can use. Now, to be called a wizard, you basically have to be a member of the White Council, and everyone else is called a practitioner. But wizards have several other powers that they have at their beck and call. One of them is called Wizard's Sight. Now, under the Dresden Files game, you don't have to have Wizard's Sight, but most wizards take it anyway. And what it involves is opening essentially your third eye so that you can read the magical flow or maybe see if there's any creatures, magical creatures that are around near you. It allows you to assess magical effects that are going on. Sometimes it allows you to see the after images of magic. The big thing about the Wizard's Sight is that whatever you see can never be forgotten. So if you look at something that is terribly disturbing, it is indelibly etched upon your mind. And this happens to Harry in a couple of the Dresden Files books because he can't forget what he's seen and he sees something pretty terrible. The other power that wizards sometimes wield is what they call wizard's healing or wizard's constitution. And basically what it means is that as long as a wizard doesn't lose an arm or a leg or a hand, they can eventually recover from this damage or this injury. In one of the books, Harry takes a terrible amount of damage to his hand, almost has it burned off because he is trying to defend, he and his friends, from a flamethrower. But eventually the hand heals and he gets better. So those are the two main powers that wizards wield in addition to their spellcasting abilities, Wizard's Sight and Wizard's Constitution.